Hello everyone and welcome to another Games Jobs Live. If you don't know me, I'm Colin McDonald. I've been in the games industry for about 30 years now, from being producer on the early Grand Theft Auto games to being games commissioner at Channel 4 television. So you can blame me if the Made in Chelsea or the Hollyoaks games didn't feature your favourite characters. Today we are featured on the Midlands. Often referred to as Silicon Spa, with its legacy of creating classic games such as Dizzy, Tomb Raider and GoldenEye. These days it's home to over 40 great games companies such as the ones we've got today, making games that top all the charts, whether it's AAA, mobile, licensed, indie games, you name it, the Midlands has got it. We've put up a much fuller background about the industry in the Midlands with local networks, things to do, who's hiring, etc. If you have a look at our website, which is www.gamesjobs.live/Midlands. So have a read there when you get the chance, either during or after the live stream. For those who are joining us for the first time, Games Jobs Live makes it easy for great studios to connect with fantastic talent that's either already in the games industry or is looking to get into it. Some people are already in the local area, just looking for a change. Others in other fields or graduating or about to graduate from university and looking to get in for the first time. Hopefully we've got a bunch of information and presentations that will cover everyone's situation. If you do have any questions, just give us a shout. I'll get on to how you do that later on. The companies we've got today are all fantastic. We've actually had them before at different events, so we've got some great speakers and people that are great at giving answers to the questions you put to them, whether that's here in the live stream or in the Discord afterwards. So do get your questions ready. Each company only has, they'll have a little bit longer today. They'll have about 10 minutes each. So it will give you a bit of a flavor of them. But really what we're trying to do is to encourage you to speak directly to the companies and to follow up with them. There's no middlemen or agencies in the middle. You just speak to the companies directly. The best way to do that is to get into the Discord. So the address is scrolling along the bottom of the screen and will do throughout the whole of the live stream. So in a browser, if you type in discord.gamesjobs.live, that's discord.gamesjobs.live. If you type that into a browser, it'll automatically redirect to the right Discord server and take you there. Once you're there, you'll find a dedicated channel for each of the companies that are presenting today. So do just jump on. I think they're all monitoring their Discord channels as of now, and they will be for the next 2 hours. So although the natural thing to do is to jump on with more questions after you've heard them speak, they are monitoring the channels now, so jump on just now. I'll also keep the speakers on from each company for a few minutes for a bit of Q&A after the presentations. So please give me some questions, otherwise you're going to be stuck with my questions. Give me some questions for me to put to the speakers. For that, there's a channel called Live Stream Questions in the Discord. Put them there, and I'll try and pick out a few and put them to the speakers. So between getting questions asked on air and in the Discord, hopefully you'll get all your queries answered. Each of the companies that have someone in the Discord, you'll see those representatives in green with a company role. So if anyone else contacts you asking for details, don't give them out. Don't give any personal details out. If there's any nonsense in any of the channels, report them to a moderator or myself between talks, or to one of the people with a company role, and they're able to delete or ban any idiots. This is supposed to be a nice thing to try and help everyone, help the studios and help everyone watching. So let's keep it friendly. I think I'm obligated to say that if you enjoy this, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, all that kind of stuff. We actually have 2 more events later on this month in April. So if you don't find your dream job today, please do tune into them. Companies joining us at the other events include Creative Assembly, Wargaming's MS1 Studio, Square Enix, Studio Gobo, TT Games, Mag Interactive, another bunch of great companies. But today we're focused on the companies we've got in the Midlands today. So make the most of them. They're only around for the next 2 hours. All the details of all our events, the future ones, are on our website. So you'll also find an interactive jobs map that we've got with all of the jobs. There's about 1,800 across the whole of the UK. So get on to www.gamesjobs.live, explore that map, have a look at the region articles, and browse our upcoming events to see if any others tickle your fancy. One of the bits of advice that we always hear for people wanting to get into the industry initially is to gain experience, and that's kind of a catch-22. But one of the best ways you can do it is by taking part in game jams. So for that reason, we run our own game jam. Our next one is in July. And what we do is we run it over a week. There's obviously a theme, and then we get dozens of companies to come in and judge. So this is your chance to turn the tables, and rather than have the companies present to you, you get to present your work to this amazing array of industry judges that will be judging your work, and obviously they're looking for new talent to hire. So check out the details. If you go to jam.gamesjobs.live, you'll find details of the next jam, which is in July. So you've got a bit of time to prepare for that. I'd just like to thank Barclays for sponsoring today's event, and to everyone that's helped promote it, particularly Elspeth, who's been spreading the word via Twitter, forums, different Discords, etc. Thank you very much. Andrew has written those great articles that are up on the website with the fuller background on the Midlands and pretty much every other region around the UK, and what their games history and current scene is. And of course, a massive thank you to the companies we've got today, Ubisoft, Kwali and Electric Square. They're all brilliant, ambitious companies that are looking for new talent to help them grow and thrive and make their games bigger and better. And they've taken time out of their tight schedules to come and talk to us today. So I'm really, really grateful. Thank you to them. So on that note, what I would like to do is bring on our first company. So please let me welcome in Charlotte from Electric Square.
Hi, Colin. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us again.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. Yeah, it's been a while because it was last year, I think, was the last time you were on a stream. So in some ways things have changed a lot, in other ways they haven't, perhaps. But
yeah, we're still at home. But yeah, things have moved around in the studio. We're involved with a lot more than we were, and we've got a lot more roles on the website. Everyone will be pleased to know. But yeah, pretty much still here.
Great. Okay, well, I'll hand over to you and we'll come back to you for some Q&A.
Amazing. So I'm Charlotte. I'm the talent acquisition specialist at Electric Square. You may have seen me in the past on the Brighton stream, as we have 3 locations. I'm just going to bring my my little presentation up for you. It's a bit, here we go. I'm not the most technical, ridiculously, in my industry. So we are Electric Square. We have obviously got parents of Keyword Studio, which is listed below. We are looked after by Keywords. This is actually, the background you can see here is actually the studio in Brighton. So it gives you an idea of what our studios look like inside, but also we have a little video later which gives you even more of a better insight. So our mission in Electric Square provides we provide world-class console games and mobile games developments for the biggest and best partners in the industry. Our vision is to be the first choice when it comes to the creation of genre-defining games. And here is a lovely map which shows Leamington Spa, Brighton and Singapore, which is our 3 locations. We have 170 staff across 3 locations, and we have got experience in managing top IP, as you might have seen on our website. So they're the locations that we have for Electric Square. Our services. So we provide a range of technical and creative services. These include full development, co-development, live ops, R&D tools and prototyping, and creation of original IP, which you might get to see very soon. So we do a lot for people, and that is worldwide. So for publishers and IP holders, these are the things that we offer as a studio. So some of you may have had a little look in advance. We are working with our friends who are also on the call, Ubisoft, on Assassin's Creed VR, which we're very excited about. Now, this is the first time Ubisoft is bringing their biggest franchise to VR, and it's a new chapter in the Assassin's Creed series. We are co-developing the project, which is being led by Ubisoft Red Storm Entertainment. And this VR game is also being co-developed by Ubisoft Dusseldorf, Ubisoft Mumbai, and Ubisoft Reflection. So it's a massive game, and we're super excited to be involved with it. Now, some of you may have played this already. We did release Forza Street last year, which was super exciting. So this is a full client development from concept through to launch. It was on Windows 10, iOS, and Android. It was a free-to-play version of the hit Microsoft franchise designed for casual players. And I'm going to go to a quick video for those of you who haven't played it, so you can see what it looks like. And if we can play the full... Also been working with Hot Wheels ID as well, you might have seen. That is on our website. We're super excited to have been a part of that as well. This is the evolution of the #1 selling toy in the whole world. So to be involved with that was pretty fun. And it was a digital play full development cycle with physical play collaboration. Now, the physical play collaboration part, we actually got cars delivered to the studios, and we got to play with the tracks and the cars to be able to understand how these would work in play. So it was a really exciting project to be a part of. And we have our research and development team. Now, Reactor, our applied R&D team, develops cutting-edge tools and technology to raise the quality bar of our products to the next level. World building using Houdini and focus on state-of-the-art rendering techniques to make our world-class games shine. So that's a really exciting thing to be able to see week in, week out. Now, some of you may have seen our social media. You might see about all the fun things that we get provided for our company. But Electric Square have an amazing culture. We have a relaxed, egoless environment with a flat hierarchy. Our standards are high, but we find the space to experiment and play with new ideas. We have a wonderfully diverse team, and we celebrate difference. And our differences are our strengths. We're proud to be an equal opportunity workspace, and mutual respect, trust, and transparency is super important to us. And we have a no crunch culture, and we respect the importance of a work-life balance. We are the winners of the best places to work for the last 3 years running with gamesindustry.biz. And last year we actually won their social responsibility award, which meant a lot to us. We also have a 4.8 rating out of 5 on Glassdoor, and that's from our direct employees who've worked for the company. So it gives a really good snapshot of what we're like to work for. Just a few perks and benefits, and there are so much more. So if you check our website, you can see what else we offer, but we have fresh home cooked monthly lunches, and these are currently being delivered to our homes. We work in a state-of-the-art studio, as you've seen in some of the backgrounds. We are a dog-friendly studio, which is amazing, let's be honest. We have a £50 health and wellbeing allowance, which is, awesome. You can use that on gym memberships or, vitamins, whatever, everything that comes under health and wellness. We have project wrap parties and cinema nights and team nights out, and we have a summer festival, and that includes like face painting, free alcohol, free food, you name it. It's awesome. A monthly studio social nights, which are great to hang out with your friends, and extensive video game library and book library to borrow from. So that's an awesome perk and benefit to have. Just to give you an idea of what the Electric Square looks like, I'm going to play the video now for you. This is a little reminder for me. Colin mentioned we are hiring. So we have a big extensive list that I would advise you to go to that lovely website there and check out the list of jobs. We're also, very open to seeing people's CVs. If you're looking for an internship, if you're looking for a step-in career, such as a junior role, we'd still love to hear from you. Please do send your information across. I will jump in the Discord after this, I promise. It is just me manning it, so bear with me. I will be there and I will be able to answer some of your questions. But also we have an amazing team called Developing Minds of we've got loads of devs that have come together to give you advice. If there's any questions you have about your portfolio, you'd like some advice, or we can help you step into the industry, we'd love to do that, whether it's working for us or someone else, but we'd love to set you up with those skills to be able to step into the industry for your first career. Thank you very much. That was my presentation. I hope you liked it.
Perfect. Oh, sorry, I'm bringing in our next speaker too early, trying to do too many things. That was great. Thank you, Charlotte. And what I'll do is we will just bring up your website just there. So anyone check out more about Electric Square and about all the vacancies that they've got up there. A bunch of interesting questions come in.
Good.
The usual one that keeps coming up and that I know you don't have a definite answer for is remote working.
Yeah.
What's the current thinking around that?
Yeah, to give you all a little bit of an idea of what we're speaking about at the moment. So obviously it is something that we're definitely taking into consideration. It's something that's very important to us, understanding that we need to develop with the times being what they're like. Recently, we have been able to quite successfully remote hire during this time, and for people that will continue to be remote. However, we do need to obviously look at our remote working policy. This is to make sure that you're safe, we're safe. The games that we're working on work from home. But generally, we're quite open to the idea of it. So I think that anyone who is interested in working from home for us should definitely still apply and speak to us about that. And it's a case-by-case basis, and we can speak to the directors as they come in. So yeah, definitely we're open. Please do get in touch if that is what you're looking for.
Great. And then there was also a question from someone overseas, I think. Do you take applications from overseas? Can you help with that? I know that's also got more complicated in the last couple of years.
Yeah. 100%. So we definitely do. We definitely love to hear from you if you are overseas. This is something we can support. We do have visa support. We do have freelance contracts if you're looking to work from home. We generally, I would say, within 3 hours time differences, we can make that work in respect to working with us directly from an overseas location. But if you are looking to relocate to the UK from overseas, we can support with that. But yeah, all things can be considered. They are always case by case. We'd never say no until we definitely couldn't do it.
Great, good to know. And hopefully that includes Scotland. If I
100%. More than welcome to come, Colin.
If Games Jobs Live doesn't work out for me, that'd be great. Okay. An interesting question that I'm not sure what I actually had before. Someone's first week. And again, that's an unusual one at the moment, but what can people expect in their first week?
Well, from work from home at the moment, you will be greeted as we would have in a normal studio location, but we just have kind of adapted that to be virtual. So our HR department will give you a lovely welcome. You'd still get the lovely introduction welcome pack that we have. You'd still meet the team. You'd speak to your team individually as well about how you're going to fit into that process. We'd set you up with everything software-wise that you needed to have done. IT have been absolutely phenomenal in making sure everyone has the equipment and software that they need. So we'd have that induction with IT as well, and obviously the director you'd be working alongside. So that's kind of what a first week looks like. It sounds like very quick, but it's a very long process in your first steps. You'd also get to watch show and tell for the first time on a Friday, so you'd see all the other games as well and have a lovely big welcome from everyone in the studio. We do encourage people to reach out in their first week and just do a little bio email about them, and they end up with lots of friends by the end of the week, especially the people that say they're really good cooks.
Good advice. The show and tell sounded interesting. Is that something you do every week?
Yeah, so this is something we do every Friday at 4 o'clock. So we show all the projects across the board, and we get to see full transparency on all of the different projects we have, basically. There's probably only one that can't be filmed, but that's due to the IP, as you can imagine. And then Singapore can watch that back for a convenient time for them. So they also get to see show and tell. And that's something we would have done in the studio all together, crowded round, a TV screen or people's desks that have been individually working on parts, grab a beer from the fridge, chill together and get to see how we're progressing, really. It's a really nice kind of social aspect of our week.
Great. Sounds a lot of fun. Yeah.
It really is.
I might see if I can join in sometime.
Yeah, come on a Friday to do it.
And then another really interesting question. We've got someone on the stream, and I think they should probably follow up directly with you because their situation will be specific. But talking, if you can answer generally, this person's specific issue is that their partner's already in the games industry in Midlands. They are not, but they have, I think it's 20 years experience in other industries as either an illustrator or a traditional painter, and is really keen to get into the games industry. How would you handle that? Does that mean they need to come in, as a graduate almost at an entry-level position, or what does that experience in other industries count for with Electric Square?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we're really open to seeing people with other industry experience, and I think it all depends on how that transfers and if that transfers well, if they would need support to step into a more of a mid-level senior role. If there's, if we do need to start them off at the lower end and support them into that growth, then we can do that. However, there are some skills, as you can imagine, a lot of the time production is one, as you know, where producers in TV and film can easily go into games and development. But yeah, there are definitely areas in the industry where you can make that switch, and it does work, especially if you put the time into researching what tools a games company might be using. If you haven't worked for a games company, if you've been doing your personal research and you can show amazing concept work, I think that goes a long way as well. It shows the developers, yes, they know what they're talking about. Yes, they're confident in these engines or their software or whatever it is they're using. But I think that's the key. I think if you can show that's transferable, here's me transferring it, we're definitely here to listen, and it's definitely something we're not close to. Okay.
So there's another couple of questions come in, and you've kind of half answered them. But it's basically people that have got experience in other industries. They're not, one person described himself as late 30s. What can they do to get the experience? And you sort of advise them to get experience of game engines and show what experience they have. Is there anything else they should be doing? The one I hear a lot is game jams. Is that something that you value?
Yeah, I would definitely say, especially the sort of game jams you're involved with, I think they're fantastic times to get used to those roles from a very fun point of view. So you get to experience those roles in a team environment before having to do that as a career. I think it's a really good building tool for sure. I would definitely reach out to studios that you like the work of. You know, most of us are a pretty friendly bunch. Like I said, we do have a bunch of developers that are happy to give advice to people who are looking to step in. So we'd be more than happy to do that. There are amazing initiatives out there, such as Baming Games, Code Coven, Into Games, obviously yourself here at Games Jobs Live, who are willing to help people find out what they're needing to do to make those benchmark steps into the industry. And I think definitely just ask. Don't be afraid to ask. The worst that can happen is people don't reply. And if they don't try again, that's what I always say.
Absolutely, yeah. Persistence is definitely a
100%.
a great attribute, before or even once you're in this industry.
Definitely.
And then just one final question. We've got someone asking about international hires, and we've kind of answered that already. But you mentioned that Electric Square has a Singapore studio. I mean, is that an option? Could I come and work in the Leamington studio and transfer to Singapore one day? Is that, you know?
Who's to say? I mean, it would be new, but I wouldn't say it was a blocker for us. I could see that happening for sure. I definitely could see that happening. And it would be the same if, you know, I spoke about the 3-hour time zone. Anyone out of that time zone, we'd be looking to hire as well, for sure. You know, we're trying to make that work currently, if I'm honest, to see if we can do even further out of our time zone. And I think that's definitely something that's on the horizon for us. I think, you know, the limit is endless. We are pretty open as a studio into trying new things, making that work. And I would definitely say, yeah, transfers could be potential.
Okay, there's hope for me yet. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm going to work in Singapore. They've got a swimming pool in their studio, guys. Just saying.
I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm totally there. Alcohol, dogs, and swimming pools. What could go wrong?
Exactly.
Charlotte, thank you so much for taking the time out your busy schedule to join us today. Really appreciate it. You're on the Discord?
We'll be jumping on in 2 seconds.
Perfect. So if you're not already on and want to follow up with Charlotte about the opportunities at Electric Square, get on the Discord if you're not already. The address, as Charlotte says, is scrolling along the bottom of the screen, discord.gamesjobs.live. She and folk from the other companies we've got will be on there for the next hour and a half. So follow up directly with them. And then if there's opportunities that you fancy, do just apply directly. That's the whole point of this, is to get people into jobs at companies where they're desperate for the best talent going, and I'm hoping that's you. So get on there, chat to Charlotte, follow up, apply, get a job, and come back and tell us about it one day.
I'd love to see all your applications. Please do.
Great. Charlotte, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you in the Discord.
I will do. I'll see you there.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was Electric Square. Do follow up with Charlotte in the Discord. The link scrolling along the bottom of the screen. I see we've got people asking for that. Before we bring on our next company, one of the organizations that has helped make this happen is Barclays. So thank you very much to Barclays for supporting this. They recognize it's beneficial both to the companies that are trying to grow and to people that are looking for new jobs. So let me just play a short video from Barclays.
Like you'll ever get paid to play video games, they said. You've gone on to become players, creators, fans, all in one huge and growing community. Video games bring us closer, even when we're apart, and Barclays has seen this. We've been partnering with the likes of Yuki, Women in Games, Tiger, and Game Republic. We know that gaming's many faces can truly make a positive impact. We're there with you, whether you're making the next great game or just looking forward to playing it. Squad up, we're Barclays.
Oh, we seem to have some problems playing out the videos today. That's a shame. However, we don't have any problems with our guest speakers, so please welcome Simon from Kwali. Simon.
Hey, nice to see you, Colin.
Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I'll come back and put some questions from the Q&A to you, but in the meantime, over to you.
Sure thing. Hi everybody, so I'm here representing Kwali. I'd like to talk to you about the creative Wild West of rapid prototyping, which is what we lovingly refer to it as. It really is the source of the big benefits that Kwali brings, and it's the creativity that flows through the lifeblood of what we do. We are a company that lives and dies by the creativity of our team, not just in the design department, but across the board. And hopefully you'll see that through the stuff that I'll talk about. Really focusing on the hyper casual mobile efforts that I'm currently managing. So I'm Simon Platt. I am the head of development here at Kwali. So I'm managing the full umbrella of our internal development, from signing off on concepts to the rapid prototyping, which is the main force of what we do, as well as building up full production designs and full production global launch titles out to the world once they're proven track records through the prototyping process. Here's a few of the games that I've helped design, as well as help publish, hopefully some stuff that you know, but it is what we've cut our teeth on over the last 3 or 4 years is learning hyper casual, learning this space of addictive short burst gameplay. And I really cannot say enough from a design point of view, from a programming point of view. A lot of these I prototype myself, art and programming. I really can't say enough to the creative freedom that it gives you to work in a remit that requires you to move so quickly, be fluid with the trends, and really just try anything that could be sticky. So Kwali is an award-winning studio and publisher, again, of hyper casual games. Really see ourselves as the home of hyper casual. We originally started out making bigger games, all on the premise of, if we make something fun, surely it will make money. And we quickly learned that sinking a lot of time into really big, heavy development cycles on something that we just hope will work wasn't enough. And hyper casual games gave us the shift we needed to make a fully data-driven approach that allows us to just make anything that we think is fun, throw it to the users, and then find out if people want this product as quickly as possible, and then sink our time, our love, and our efforts into the games that we know people want to play. So by the end of last year, we hit 500 million downloads. Another huge benefit of the work that we do is that we so quickly go from a cool idea to a prototype to something in the hands of millions of people worldwide. And it feels fantastic. And it means that there's always something new next week that could just land in the right way and be a mega hit that's top of the charts and played by millions of people the world over. Last year, as an example, 19 global launches shipped into the iOS and Android charts. So I want to talk about hyper casual freedom. I've touched on it a bit before, but it really is a remit that gives you so much creativity, so much open freedom to try things and see what sticks. Hyper casual games can be anything adhering to a few simple rules. They need to be simple to play, accessible, and easy to understand. I'm sure this isn't news to a lot of people, and this is by no means all you need to make a hyper casual hit. It is a tough game to land the game that just has the right stickiness, that retains the players the right way, that has the appeal, the mass appeal that you need. But because it really just has to adhere to these 3 rules when it comes to the ideation process, when it comes to people throwing their ideas into the mix, there's so much value in listening to everyone in the company. It gives us a huge amount of creative freedom to design games around any concept that we think might be appealing. And no pigeonholing is a big one. No more, and I come from a AAA background, no more being held up in years of development on the same game. It is new idea around the corner every time, and everyone's voice matters, because anything that you can justify having some value and having some potential mass appeal is something that we can try. And thanks to the hyper casual notion of rapid prototyping, it really is quite cheap and effective to just try it and see if it works. And it results in people from finance, people from QA, people from administration, all pitching ideas that then get made and tested and sent out to thousands, if not millions of users. So in the same week, we might be working on a realistic-ish baking simulator. We might be working on a crazy shopping, manic, like frantic rush game. We might be working on a racer where you're scaling up this wheel to try and take on different terrains, all appealing, as I hope you can see, with different ways, whether it's interesting, innovative tech with the soft body physics in Wheel Race, or whether it's just that manic splash visual of the abstract style of Crazy Shopping. It really is about finding something that makes you within a few seconds say, that looks cool, I want to get my hands on that. And because that remit gives us such an open door, it means that we would be foolish and naive to not ask everyone in the company to pitch in with their ideas. Because, again, we're not so naive to think that we're geniuses, and it takes a genius to come up with the idea of a wheel that gets bigger and smaller. Great ideas can come from anyone. And due to that creative approach, we actively encourage everyone to pitch in. We have a process called Creative Wednesdays every Wednesday. The whole company gets to learn about industry trends as an education process. We try and make sure that people are playing the games and understanding what the hyper-casual landscape looks like, but get to pitch their ideas. They get a direct line to myself, to our head of design, to get their idea in front of them, get feedback, or potentially get that game made straight away through one of our development teams. Collaboration, so employee investment in projects is essential. And so everyone's encouraged to make suggestions, experiment in prototyping. It doesn't matter if you're an artist, if you're a programmer, if you're in QA, you have a voice. We pride ourselves on the culture that we maintain, and that is one of humility and people bending over backwards for each other. And it's absolutely necessary in the business we're in, because we expect people to be okay with turning on a dime. If someone on Sunday comes up with a cool, wacky concept, we want to make that on Monday. So people are going to be told, stop what you're doing, build this instead, isn't it cool? And it would be unfair for us to try and have that flexibility whilst also not letting people have their voice, have their say, and help them get a spin. The speed that we develop as well, it's so open and perfectly fitted to have these voices that help just push it in the right direction and get it to the finish line. And then profit sharing, a portion of all the profits from our games go to the team. Like it again, in the same way that we expect everyone to be self-motivated and to feel like they have an ownership in the project, we feel it would be completely unfair on the other side to not say that those efforts are going to be directly rewarded. It's worth noting as well, Kwali is a company that absolutely gives back as much as you put in. I started in QA, and the only reason that I am where I am now, managing the entire development team, is because when we started pitching games, I was pitching 5-6 games a week, and then I was prototyping them myself, and we were getting them tested. And then a lot of those games ended up doing very well for us. And Kwali is more than happy to then push back to me and give me more opportunities, because I was willing to take this huge opportunity, not squander it, and put as much in as I could. I really can't say enough to the approach that management has here at Kwali. So what are we looking for? Creative, motivated people to grow our efforts, excited by the prospect of no huge dev cycles. So as far as our mobile arm goes, new prototypes every week. It's a fantastic place to work if you're in the right mindset, if you're excited by the idea of not being stuck down on a project for months or years on end. There's always something new, a new spin, a new opportunity to do R&D, to add some new tech, some new flair, some new art style to a project. A lot of creative freedom. I've talked about it a lot. We're very, very cautious about who we let into the company, because once you get in through the door, we trust you with quite a lot. There's a lot of creative freedom. There's a lot of self-ownership on the projects, and we expect people to motivate themselves and be motivated by the people around them. We don't want people to come in, be stressed, and be given so much restrictions that they feel like they have to keep to their remit. So we let in people that we feel we can trust, and then we give them a lot of creative freedom. And again, a team built on humility, respect, collaboration. It became so apparent when we got into hyper-casual that this was going to be important. If we expect people to move at the pace we want to move, then we need everybody to be helping everybody else. And we now have a team of AAA developers, casual game developers, mid-core developers, who wouldn't normally play hyper-casual games, who have really learned to love what we do and understand why we make the decisions we do, because they're given ownership over the project. Everyone is encouraged to learn more about what they do and love what they do, because the environment is genuinely just so good to be in. We have a new arm of the company in PC and console publishing, headed up by Max Everingham, who is a recent acquisition, worked at Codemasters Team 17, doing similar roles. We've already shipped a couple of games across Steam and Switch, and a lot more stuff coming through the pipeline. We've got roles open here: sales execs, community managers, publishing executives, and plenty more. an incredibly exciting opportunity because it's an arm that's just getting off the ground, but with an amazing established team of people and with a lot of experience in the PC and console publishing space. So fantastic opportunity for anyone who wants to get in near the ground level and be a part of these first pickups that we do as a company and these first releases that we have coming down the line. So we have over 100 open positions at the moment. We've got our headquarters in Leamington Spa, but we have offices in Beijing, Bangalore, and as far as remote work goes, we are considering almost all positions for remote work. It is a conversation that we'll be happy to have for every single position. But if you visit our website, you can see that most of them are already listed as remote working. Something that we've obviously had to deal with. We did a phenomenal job, all down to my team, nothing to do with me, of getting set up remotely. And it just so quickly showed us that this thing that we were so scared of before, we are absolutely capable of doing, whilst keeping that magic that I keep talking about of collaboration and care for people's general health and well-being. So there's the website at the top. Please check out all of the positions available. There is, as I said, over 100 across the mobile division, publishing on mobile, as well as PC console publishing and admin roles. And yeah, we hope to hear from you soon.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Simon. What I will do is let's just bring up your website address so that while we're chatting, folk can go there and get more details. 100 open positions.
I know, right?
That's insane.
Yeah, it is intimidating, but it is so exciting because our success over the last 4 years has allowed us to finally do the things that we want to do. We've got formats and formulas that work. We just need really good people to keep the creative bubble moving, to increase the amount of prototyping that we're doing so that we can continue to dominate in the hyper-casual space. But then the opportunity to do things like PC console publishing is just absolutely phenomenal. To be able to step into this completely new remit with the confidence of people like Max, who, you know, it's in their blood. They've been doing this for years. Yeah,
no, I'd forgotten you'd announced that because hyper casual in itself is not that old as a genre. I don't know, five years old or something. I'd be guessing. But for you to come along and be so dominant in it is impressive. I mean, I'm old enough to have met the darlings in previous lives, but that level of experience, you know, they've been in the games industry for 40 years now or something. It was interesting that you sort of credited that with part of, you know, your own rise through the company as well. I mean,
David is phenomenal. Like, the approach that he takes is unbelievably freeing in that he just wants to try things. He just wants to surround himself with people who are intelligent and creative and be convinced that he should try things. And so he gives you these platforms, he gives you these opportunities to justify what you want to do. And as long as there's some merit to it, like, we'll figure out a way to put it out there. And it's the only reason we discovered hyper-casual, and it's the only reason that we were fortunate enough to be there at the right time to grow in knowledge at the same pace as that new area of the market.
Yeah, no, you've done amazingly well. Yeah, being smart and creative, that rules me out, unfortunately. But I'm sure everyone else that's watching is a prime candidate. So
humility, though, is another thing. So that works quite well in your favour.
I've got plenty of that, just nothing else. Great stuff. And then also just this year, the number of prototypes and obviously not quite so many, but the number of game launches as well. I mean, what does that look like? If I come in as a programmer, am I potentially working on a new game every week almost? Do I spend a while prototyping different ideas and then sort of go into production on one? What might it look like in terms of the number of titles I'm across if you're launching? Was it 19 titles in the last year?
Yeah, as far as the prototype teams go, which is where we put most programmers to start, it's a really good introduction, especially when hyper-casual being so new, people typically don't understand the approach when they come in, that usually from other remits and other parts of the industry. Prototyping is the best place to be. And yeah, typically it's a new project every week. There's obviously there's scale to this of how much we have to do in order to get it through that first stage test. But typically it's every week it's going to be a new design point in front of you, a kickoff, like a kickoff with the designer. Nobody is left on an island. As I said, it's all collaborative. It's always with a team. It's always with an opportunity to ask questions and to make sure that we approach things in the smart way. But as someone who taught himself programming just so he could do prototypes for Kwali, I'm so excited by the idea that you make something, you don't get too deeply invested in it until you find out that people want this game. It means that you get to make all of this stuff, you get to throw it out to the audience, and then they throw a couple of them back, and you go, okay, these are the ones I'm gonna sink my time into and really, make sure that they fulfill what that person wants.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm lucky in that not many of the games I've worked on in my career have been canned, but I know people who have spent 10, 15 years in the industry and haven't shipped a game. Everything's been canned because they've spent 3 years of their life working on something that doesn't ship, and that's hard.
Even with our 1 week prototypes, it was an incredibly pill to swallow. I remember the first prototype we made, I was sure this was going to be the biggest thing that anyone's ever made ever. It was a simple little puzzle thing. It was nothing, but I was so sure, and it came back with terrible data, and it just destroyed my world. But we got very, very good very quickly at letting go of that. And again, like I said, with that approach of, we don't want to be sinking a ton of time into things until we know that the people want it. Because if there isn't an audience, we don't get that feedback loop. We don't get to enjoy the fact that people are enjoying our products. And there's a huge benefit in that we can try so much. Hyper-casual used to be about abstract 2D light puzzle games. And those doors have just been blown open in the last 3 years. And we can pretty much make anything. We were always surprised by what lands. And it's so phenomenal to know that we can, as long as the process is cheap, we can justify making anything, and anyone with just a spark can end up with a game in the hands of millions of people.
And then what about the other disciplines? I mean, obviously in prototyping, a lot of the work is code heavy because you're experimenting with mechanics, but you need some artwork, you need some audio. What's the involvement of the other disciplines at that point?
So art and programming hand in hand, pretty much. Typical prototype, one artist, one programmer, working together. The visual aesthetics, the visual appeal, as I said, accessibility is such an important thing for us. It needs to have something that a wide amount of what it's going to cast a wide net. A lot of people are going to see it and feel something for it, but also light polish and flair is very important. So having skilled artists who have a good eye for this stuff is super important when, as most people know, hyper-casual is about acquisition. We need to be able to put ads out there and get people in through our ads. If you haven't got an appealing advert that shows the user something they've not seen before, then you're already starting on the back foot. So it is just as important with the artists. Audio work is something that we're sort of dabbling in. It's not a big business in hyper-casual. People rely more on haptic feedback. But it is, we do have people on staff. We actually have someone in QA who is a hobbyist for audio work, really, really talented, and we give him as much opportunity as we can to lend some of his work and give him some time to do that. What I was saying about Kwali giving back and giving me these opportunities, and David giving me these opportunities, is very much across the board. We have artists now who were in QA and just showed signs of doing good artwork, and through prototyping just volunteered himself to work on projects and did such a good job that we were more than happy to move him where he wanted to be. Sort of talking to Charlotte's question before about someone coming in without the proper skills. I don't have the experience there. I know from experience that if you can put the time in and show the enthusiasm and the ability to do what we need you to do, I don't care about whether you've had jobs in the industry, whether you've had jobs similar. If you're the right person for the job and you can get results, then that's great by me.
Great. And then if I'm an amazingly talented artist, but I just don't, I don't feel like I've got ideas for new mechanics. I just want to do amazing art. Is that okay? Absolutely.
I mean, we want everyone, we want to push the idea that there's creative freedom and that we care for the voice of everybody, mainly because we've seen how beneficial it can be, especially coming from a background where I felt downtrodden. I felt like I was told to stick to my remit and keep my voice down. But if you are very good at doing that one skill and you are interested, and we have programmers and artists like this who just want, give me my work, let me do it, give me a good feedback loop, then absolutely. We are all about the people and the quality of your work. If you're a talented artist, a talented programmer, you work well with people, you can, you know, show that humility and be good with the feedback loop, then absolutely get in touch.
Work well with people, yeah, another important attribute and another one that rules me out. Never mind. Never mind.
What a shame, even though you're an amazing artist.
Well, if only, yeah. And then a couple of questions just from the Discord. People obviously put a lot of work into their show reels and portfolios. Realistically, how much time is spent reviewing each of those? I mean, you know, to me, there's no point putting forward an hour's worth of show reel, because busy studios are not going to spend an hour reviewing every single application. What sort of length, what sort of depth of material would you recommend people put into their applications?
I think the important thing is going to be though the opening like 10 seconds of your show reel are going to be key. Even though it should be longer, it should show a better breadth of your content. Those opening 10 seconds are going to be the thing that sets the stage. So trying to make sure that shows a good range of what you can do within the remit of the role that you're applying for is absolutely, it's the thing that makes it stick with you. It's the thing that makes you want to dive deeper and want to dig in. And although we're going to be looking through 30 seconds a minute of these show reels at the very least of everybody that comes in, you're going to do yourself a lot of favors by trying to tailor these opening seconds to grab the person and say, okay, this person's worth paying attention to.
Okay, great. And then there's someone that has applied to you in the past, and my advice to that would be that doesn't stop you applying again. They were looking for more feedback than I think that they've had when they've had rejections. How much feedback can you go into when you're looking at an application but aren't able to offer someone a follow-up?
I would have to push that onto Veronica, our head of acquisition, I'm afraid. As she handles that, we get, when it's requested, we get the feedback through and we get to respond. But I believe Veronica will be in the Discord straight after this, so it's a perfect question for her there.
Very good point. Okay, we need to move on. But yeah, as you say, Veronica from Kwali is in the Discord, so do jump on, follow up with any questions, anything that Simon's covered or hasn't. Follow up in the Discord. If you're not on already, the address is scrolling along the bottom of the screen. If you punch into a browser, discord.gamesjobs.live, you'll find a bunch of channels, including one dedicated to Kwali. So jump on there and follow up with Veronica there. Simon, just to say thanks so much for taking the time out to join us today. That's been really interesting. We've gone into a little bit more detail than usual, which is fantastic. And yeah, there's a whole bunch of your games, particularly the one with the tire getting bigger and smaller, that absolutely intrigues me. So I'll be downloading that straight after this.
Gotcha. That was the whole point. Nailed it.
One more. 500 million.
Put it on the pile.
Brilliant. Simon, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye. Okay, yeah, so I've got my homework cut out after this. However, moving on, we have another company that have probably shipped similar numbers of hundreds of millions and have been around a little bit longer. So please let me welcome, actually what I'll do is I will take off the Kwali banners while I bring on Aaron from Ubisoft. Aaron.
How you doing, Colin? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you for joining us.
It's good to be here again. It's been a few months since the last one I was here, so.
Well, indeed. We'd forgotten what you looked like, and the world's changed. So we thought it would be great to get an update. So I'll hand over to you, and I'll see you afterwards.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think to start with, we've got a short video that we want to be showing. So, Colin, if you want to kind of go ahead with that, and then we'll get on to the presentation.
There's one left.
Well, yeah, hope you enjoyed that nice little clip, just giving you an insight into our games and a little bit about what life's like at Ubisoft. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Aaron. I'm the Senior Talent Acquisition Specialist for Ubisoft Leamington, and I focus predominantly on art vacancies across our Leamington and our Newcastle studios. So I've been here for just over a year now. So I've been to the studio once, but most of it has been down, down to the recent events. Sort of sat at home in this room, but yeah, it's been great. Absolutely loving it, and there's some really, really interesting projects that are going on behind the scenes here, which I'll tell you a little bit more about as we go through. So, obviously, Ubisoft, we've got a rich history of developing AAA titles, and here in the UK, Reflections has been developing games since 1984, and we're one of the longest established game developers in the UK. Now, Ubisoft Leamington, we were acquired in sort of 2017, previously Freestyle Games, and since then we have grown quite significantly. And our mission has always been to sort of drive co-dev excellence to help Ubisoft create outstanding experiences for our players. And both of our studios, whilst we're cities apart, we do function as one studio and under one studio strategy. We have the same directorship, and we have leads in some studios that manage people in other studios, and vice versa. Locations wise, if you don't know too much about the locations that we're based in, so Newcastle, one of the friendliest, liveliest and culturally diverse cities in the UK, lots of countryside, lots of sort of beaches around there, and then Leamington, officially voted as one of the happiest places to live in the UK, and I'm sure you've probably heard the name sort of Silicon Spa being talked about, and that's all because of the sort of games industry heritage and tech heritage around the area. Now, our studios in the UK have collaborated on some really awesome games, which I'm sure you've hopefully all played or at least aware of. So we know we've worked on the Division, Division 2, Far Cry 5, and most recently Watch Dogs Legion. And we're now actually co-leading the development of an exciting new AAA open world game, which is kind of where we're really looking to ramp up on the recruitment side of things. So in terms of growth, Ubisoft, we continue to grow year on year, opening new studios in all corners of the globe. And since that video was made, which not that long ago, our headcount's actually exceeded 19,000 people now. So that just kind of goes to show the sort of sheer amount of growth that's going on within Ubisoft at the moment. This year, our UK studio intends to increase our total headcount by 80, with even further growth to come in the future. In Leamington, we've recently broke the 100 mark, and we're now actually in the process of looking into moving in a new state-of-the-art studio, still in Leamington, but that will allow us to eventually double in size and kind of give us more room for continued growth. In Newcastle, we've also recently opened up a third floor in the building that we're based in to accommodate more people and continue collaborating effectively. And this is also partly due to the fact that we're working in our Reflection studio with some of our other global studios on some innovative VR projects. So we're bringing Assassin's Creed to VR on the Oculus platform. So if you want to check out the sort of Oculus announcement from that back sort of late last year, there's loads of cool stuff online about it that you can take a look at. In terms of opportunities, we're currently hiring for over 50 positions across both of our studios. So on the more senior side of things, we're looking at audio director, lead marketing artist, lead dev QC, lead character artist. And then the more sort of junior to intermediate side of things, we're looking at concept artists, animators. We've got probably around about 9 or 10 QA opportunities available at the moment. We're looking at brand managers, DevOps, technical art, and even more across the entire sort of spectrum of the games development process. In a lot of cases as well, we're able to hire people across either studio, depending on sort of your preference or location. So as I said, we work as one studio and under one studio strategy, and we've proven, especially over the past year, with a lot of people working from home, that you don't specifically need to always be based in that studio to be working on that project. We can manage people based in Leamington who are from Newcastle or vice versa. And as I mentioned, with the lead studio on this new AAA open world project, we can't really say too much about it at the moment because it's still very early in production. But because of this project, we're actually hiring quite a few lead and senior positions at the moment. And that's really a key sort of part of our strategy to ensure that we've got the best leadership structure in place possible, so we can continue to grow our teams and create the best game that we can. We know from the stats as well that a lot of people in here who join these events are either graduates or potentially from outside of the games industry. And for grads, we have an annual commitment to allocating a large percentage of our junior hires to to recent graduates, and we've actually we're just finishing up our graduate campaign for this year, which has seen us hire around 20 graduates so far, and we expect to hire probably a handful more for the upcoming graduate campaign, which is kicking off in 2022. There's going to be a lot more communication around sort of September, October sort of time. So please do keep your eye on that through our social channels, sort of LinkedIn and Twitter and places like that. And for those of you outside of the industry that maybe have a bit more experience overall, just not within games, a big part of our recruitment strategy is to diversify the talent that we hire, not just in terms of background and nationality and gender, but also those from other industries who can bring in a fresh perspective on sort of how to do things. Just to give you an idea, in the past 12 months, we've hired 15 people in our engineering team with no previous games experience. And we're always looking at ways that we can kind of use other skills. So things like architecture skills for our level art teams, for example, or project management skills in other areas are always good things to have. I'm often asked by candidates, what's the culture like at our studios? Well, we like to celebrate success and encourage people to put ideas forward. We also encourage play, and I'd say that one of the things that we're most excellent at is sharing knowledge and expertise at a group level. I think on top of that, we really want to sort of aspire to be one of the best places in the UK to work. We put our employee well-being first, and we really want to make sure that we're looking after the people that are creating, some of the games that we know and love. A lot of you are probably going to be wondering, how things are going to look when we start returning to the studio. And I can tell you that, it's going to be a slow process. Hopefully around about September, we should all be back. But when we are all back, sort of full time and hopefully back to normality, Ubisoft have decided that a hybrid working pattern is going to be the best solution. So we still want people to be able to come into the studio to work closely together and to collaborate together. But there's also that opportunity to work a couple of days from home as well. The details on that are still being finalised, but it's likely that everyone will have the option to work at least 2 or 3 days from home, and possibly more depending on if you're commuting from further afield. Working for a company like Ubisoft obviously helps cultivate, we develop and grow skill sets, and that's kind of one of the most important things for us. And thankfully our teams are full of of extremely talented people, and we, like I said earlier, we do a lot of knowledge sharing, a lot of sort of sharing of expertise. We hold future sessions every year where we get together to discuss what the future holds for the technology and development of our games, share experiences and breakthroughs in R&D. A lot of our devs attend and speak at GDC. We also have our own Ubisoft Developers Conference, which is held every year, which is an event that just brings our teams together from across the world to share their knowledge, spark discussions about solutions and innovations. And we've also invested a lot into our learning and development too. So we're not only supporting the sort of key technical development of the employees, but also offering opportunities to develop softer skills such as leadership and cultural awareness. And all of this material, it's shared internally through the Ubisoft portal between sort of countries, teams, whatever, and sharing's a big part of the culture at Ubisoft. So applications, they're open now. You can check out our careers page. Like I say, we've got over 50 on there. I think the exact number's somewhere around 65. So yeah, please do check it out, and I look forward to taking your questions. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Aaron. Let me just bring up your website. It's kind of obvious, but ubisoft.com, I guess. Is that the best place for people to go?
For the careers page, we do have a separate one, which is reflections.ubisoft.com.
Yeah, sorry, I'll just bring up. Yeah, so let's leave that up for a second there. So yeah, if folk head to that one, they can find out more. Great stuff, and particularly interesting to hear that you're planning on adopting sort of a hybrid model. Obviously, remains to be seen. Who knows what the world's going to look like come September or even next week. At the moment, it feels like.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I guess that suggests you're still looking for people to live relatively local so that they can come in, whether it's a couple of days a week or more.
Yeah, ideally. I think one of the key things for us is that we do still have people that can get together and can collaborate. And that's not to say that, let's say you live in London or somewhere like that, and you do end up commuting sort of 1 or 2 days a week. If you're happy to do that, then we're still happy to have a look at your application for sure.
Great. There's one question. Someone that's already been to your website and checked out the vacancies. I don't think they're a fit for any of the specific vacancies. They're keen just to send in a speculative application. How can they do that?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to send speculative applications, it's best to just contact one of the team through LinkedIn, and we're happy to chat with you on there. Or alternatively, if you're on the Discord at the moment, ping us a direct message.
Absolutely good advice. Yeah, so I think I see various people from Ubisoft on the Discord. So if you're not already on there, get on it and chat to Aaron's colleagues. In a browser, punch in discord.gamesjobs.live, and I see all the questions are getting answered, or as many as they can get to it at least. Fantastic. In terms of applications, a question of my own is: are there any sort of red flags that you're typically look out for or dread seeing in an application?
Tough question. I wouldn't say there's so much red flags that we sort of look out for and dread. I think it's just more, people being aware of the requirements and the restrictions that we have. So, for example, at the moment, unfortunately, because of Brexit, we're only able to hire people who are based in the UK or eligible to work in the UK at the junior intermediate levels. We can only sponsor people at that sort of senior and above level. And then aside from that, it's just making sure that people have actually, read through the job description, made sure that their CV is tailored to it. Write a cover letter. Cover letters, I think, are absolutely brilliant because it kind of not only sells yourself and shows, how keen you are to apply for the job, but it also gives you an opportunity to sort of put your own little personality into it, put a bit of additional skills that maybe you haven't been able to fit into your CV. It's one of the first things we see as well. So, throw your portfolio or show reel link in there, and just really highlight that at the top of your application to make sure that it's there and we can see it. We don't have to go fishing for it or anything.
Yeah, that's great advice about the cover letter, because I think there's often people aren't sure whether to include one, or you just want to cut to the chase and get the CV. I mean, how it's not going to be hours, but how long can you spend looking at all those things, reading a cover letter, reading every line of a CV, looking at everything in a portfolio?
Well, I mean, we don't want war and peace. It needs to be relatively concise and short. But it's one of those things that we do try and spend as much time as possible. But you've also got to take into consideration that a lot of our jobs get sort of 200-300 applicants at a time, so it is quite time consuming. Some of them we can't look at every single detail, but we try to look at as much of it as possible. And I think that's also one of the reasons that we can't give direct constructive feedback to every single applicant, because 200-300 applicants for each job, sending direct constructive feedback for each one, we'd probably need a team of about 40-50 people to do that.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of work, isn't it? Yeah, and I mean, from the sounds of it, I think there was some other industries looked at this and said, oh, on average, recruiters spend 10 seconds assessing whether to take a CV further. Sounds like you do a little bit more than that, but you'd still recommend people make it as appealing as possible at first glance, I assume.
Yeah, definitely. And CVs, they don't have to be sort of the most amazing looking CVs. It's all about the content and how the content is presented. So long as it's clear, so long as it's easy to read, and it highlights the points in the job description, sort of quite high up the CV. If you can get all that into your first page or the first sort of couple of paragraphs, bullet points, however you want to format it, then you've got a much higher chance of the recruiter actually scrolling further down your CV.
I had a CV in a couple of months ago that was 27 pages long. Do you want that?
Yeah, I mean, try and keep it to 2, possibly 3 at a push.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Great. What does the studio do for fun? I mean, obviously, socially everything's on hiatus at the moment, but when we get back to that normal, what's a fun activities on a normal day, week, month?
To be quite honest, I haven't actually experienced any of that myself.
Because
no. I started on the first day of lockdown last year.
That's right. You said.
However, what I can say is, during the entirety of lockdown, we've always had something going on. So I've got a terrarium. We did terrarium making classes, which was fun. We've done cooking classes. A lot of the guys have done sort of like Dungeons and Dragons online table reads, that sort of stuff. So there's some really cool social events going on. Even while we're all stuck at home. I think there are the occasional sort of summer socials, but again, I'm yet to find that out.
Oh, you've missed out, but you'll have your fun, and so will everyone else.
I'm looking forward to it.
Great. And then one final question. Obviously, I was excited about Electric Square having a Singapore office. You've got a few more options in terms of offices around the world. How much movement is there between the offices?
So after you've been with us for a couple of years and sort of we've progressed you through the projects and maybe you've completed a project, we do try and keep people within the Ubisoft group. So if it does mean that you want to, relocate to Canada, relocate to, China, or kind of wherever else we've got a studio in the world, there is opportunity to do that. And it's just a case of, discussing with your lead, discussing with HR, and if there is an opportunity available in one of our global studios in a location that you're open to, then we can explore that for you. Okay,
and then just remind me, what was the name of this unannounced open world AAA game that you mentioned?
Can't catch me out with that one, Colin. Sorry.
Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciated that. For everyone that's watching that hasn't already jumped on the Discord, do jump on. address is scrolling along the bottom of the screen, discord.gamesjobs.live. The companies are on for the next 45 minutes. So if you're not watching this live, unfortunately, you'll have missed that, but do just apply to the companies directly. But if you are watching this live, get on and ask your questions now. Aaron, thanks again for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Colin. Great speaking to you again.
Great. Cheers. Bye for now. Okay, right. We have another company, or let's an organization. So one of the questions on the Discord just before we started was about the Kickstart scheme that a lot of companies are participating in at the moment, and people were wondering, is there a way they can get involved? So by I'll say amazing planning and foresight and predicting that question. Actually, it was sheer chance and the fact that we've had Into Games onto these streams before, and luckily they were able to jump on at short notice this afternoon. So please let me bring back Declan from Into Games.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey Declan, nice to see you again.
I haven't got a social life, so this is the closest. Being other people, so I was very happy that you asked.
Indeed, yeah. Well, the pubs still aren't open up here in Scotland, so I'm not allowed to go anywhere, which is why I keep doing these events.
And long may they continue. Well,
indeed.
Well, these events.
Indeed. We'll maybe come back and chat a little bit more, but I'll hand over to you to tell everyone a bit more about Into Games and your Kickstart scheme.
Sure, fantastic. Yeah, so I'm not going to do a kind of a slide presentation or anything. I'm just going to briefly tell you a little bit about the Kickstart scheme that Into Games is running. Into Games is an organization that's set up completely non-profit to provide free careers and skill support for anyone that's looking for a rewarding career in the games industry. So we work right from kind of primary school all the way up to kind of adult career seekers, and we do various things across that journey, kind of from mentorship through to just really solid careers information and guidance. And you can go and check out our Discord as well, because we've got a great Discord space with lots of people there that are willing to answer questions kind of on a regular basis. But what I'd like to talk to you today is about the Kickstart program. So Into Games with Yuki is a gateway Kickstart provider. We're the only gateway Kickstart provider that's games focused. So we've spent kind of the last part of last year teeing up some game studios across the UK to start taking Kickstart applicants. And just to let you know, the Kickstart scheme, if you didn't know, is a government-backed scheme to provide funded places for people aged 16 to 24 who are currently claiming universal credit and are not in education, to have spaces in companies all across the UK. So it's a 6-month placement, and the government pays for the wages to the studio, and along with that placement, you also get kind of parallel career support, which we provide as Into Games for the duration. So it's a fantastic opportunity. We've got, I think at the moment live, we've got almost 50 roles, and we're hoping to move that up to about 300 roles by the end of this year. So I'm just going to quickly show you a few of the roles that are available online now. So we've got all of them listed on Hitmarker. So I'm just going to show you a few now. I'll just share my screen. Yeah, this is our Hitmarker page. So I'll put the link in the Discord afterwards. So it's hitmarker.net/companies/Into Games. And here's all the roles that we've got here. So, we've got everything from, QA through to kind of HR assistants, junior programmers, media influencers. And you can see here, so we've got, there's probably studios that you'll know, such as like Splash Damage, maybe Spilt Milk, and then there's more here. So Electronic Arts, you'll definitely know them, Jagex, and Conglomerate. So there's a whole bunch of other kind of smaller indie studios as well. These roles are all over the country. One of the kind of quirks of the Kickstart program is that if a role is in an office, so if it's not remote, then you have to be within the catchment area of the office. I think it's about 50, 60 miles. Maybe a bit more, maybe 100 miles. But if it's a remote role, which many of those are, then they're national. So you can apply from anywhere. So I'll put that link in the Discord so you can take a look at the roles if you're suitable. And just to say that, once again, you have to be 16 to 24, claiming universal credit or about to claim universal credit. So you could be leaving a degree or something like that. Yeah, for some of those roles, you have to be in the catchment area. So there's some boxes there to tick. And I know that I get a lot of people, unfortunately, older than that, asking for support. We do provide support for people that are older than that in other ways. But certainly this scheme is a government scheme. We haven't had anything to do with designing it. It is what it is. So that's unfortunately who it's for. But there is some roles, entry-level roles across the country, and more opening up all the time. So it's a really, really amazing opportunity to get your foot in the door and really make a mark.
Brilliant! Yeah, what a fantastic initiative! Yeah, and it's great that you've. I know that must have been a ton of work. I mean, I know the amount of work just to get half a dozen companies on this for one event. You've got dozens and dozens of companies. That's quite an undertaking. So fair play, well done to you. That's great. Sorry if I missed it. How long does this run for?
So the entire program runs until the end of this year. These roles that are open here are, like with any role, that there's a time limit to when they close. Most of the roles on there are still open for another month, maybe a bit longer. Essentially, the studios can keep on pushing it forward if they're not getting the right applicants. Let's say if when you apply for any of those roles, you'll essentially be signing up on an Intergames form. And then we take a look at those applications first, and then we forward the best to the studio directly, and then they'll probably ask for a quick virtual interview, and if that all goes well, then you can then go straight to your local job centre and then start the process that way. So you should be within a week of having your interview that you should be starting in that role. As I say, there's a bunch of fantastic roles on there in some really great studios, big and small. So we would highly recommend, if you fit the bracket, please do apply.
Yeah, absolutely. No, really appreciate you taking the time to come on today and tell everyone about that. I would love to take part. I'm not sure I would pass for 24 anymore, but I can try. I will try. A question about remote, I guess. Are any of the jobs remote?
Yes, they are. Yeah, they are remote. Sorry, the sunshine just burst through the clouds. I'm being illuminated like some kind of.
Not used to it in this country.
Yes, some of the roles are remote. So do go through and check. I think on Hitmarker there's even a little box to search whether it's remote or not, potentially. So that might make the whole process a bit easier. But as I say, the remote roles are open nationally to anyone. So they're really good ones to go for first. Okay, and there might still be more added over time. Oh, very much so. Yes, yeah. We're expecting hopefully at least 100, maybe more, over the course of the next period. And so it's also probably good to just sign up to Intergames.org. So you can just sign up to our mailing list on the website, and then we'll be regularly posting new opportunities on there. Or once again, if you apply for any of the roles, we'll ask you to come onto the website automatically. Sorry, on our mailing list automatically, and there'll be more jobs put through there, and our Discord as well. So any one of those options, please do join. And we're also at our Twitter's great. So we just do loads of stuff on Twitter. So Intergames HQ is our Twitter account. Please do join that as well. Absolutely. Great. Thanks so much I know you've had a busy day, so thanks for jumping on at squeezing us in at the end of it. Great. We'll see you again soon, Declan. Cheers. Definitely. Thank you. Nice one, Colin. Thank you. Bye. Great. Okay, that is everyone we've got for today, and we're finishing almost on time, just 5 minutes over scheduled time. The companies are still on the Discord for the next 30 minutes or so, so make sure to jump on there. I've seen all the companies been pretty active, answering tons of questions. In the next few minutes, everyone that's registered should also be getting an email that's got direct links to the jobs page of each of the companies that have presented. The whole point of this is to get people applying to these companies. So use the next half hour to chat to them in the Discord, and then get applying.
That's the whole point of this. And if you do get a job, we've had a few people on the stream before that have come back and come on live to talk about their experience. We'd love to have more of that. So do let us know if you get a job with any of today's companies, Ubisoft, Electric Square or Kwali. That would be really great to know. Even if you don't want to join the stream, I would just love to know it. It just makes all the difference, makes this all worthwhile. So just to wrap up, if you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. We have more events. Next week on Wednesday the 21st, we are working in partnership with Pocket Gamer Connect. So we have various studios, including Wargaming's MS1 studio and Square Enix Montreal. So we're going quite international next week. And then the week after that, Wednesday the 28th, we're going down to the South Coast, where we have TT Games, we have Studio Gobo, we have Creative Assembly, and we have Mag Interactive. So if you want to check out any of those, do jump onto our website, which is www.gamesjobs.live. You'll find links to the registration pages for each of those, and then that way you sign up, you get a reminder, you get the YouTube link, and we'll also send the email with the jobs links. Also there, we've got the regional articles. So if you've just tuned in midstream, get onto the website, and there's a great article that summarizes everything going on around the Midlands, the history of the games industry, some of the fun things, the local networks, etc. And then also on the website, we've got that interactive map that you can explore all the jobs in the Midlands and beyond. Thank you to our sponsors, Barclay, for the live stream this afternoon. Thank you to Elspeth that's been helping out with the chat and also with the promotion. And thank you so much to the companies coming along and putting all their opportunities in front of everyone today. So thank you to Kwali, to Electric Square, and to Ubisoft, and to Inti Games. Very much appreciated. Everyone's on the Discord until 6 o'clock. So I'll leave you to get chatting to them. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Thanks. Bye.